What led you to come up to New York City?
Well, as I said before, I came up for the launching of the Black Star Line steamship, and I was so inspired with the thousands of people who were there to see the launching and to go on board the ship and everything. It was just inspiring. Garvey was up here. I just felt that it was good to be up here because I'd be hearing all those kind of speeches that I never heard in the South, you see.
Who are some of the other people in the Garvey movement other than Garvey who made a big impression on you as great public speakers?
Oh, you had Mr. Bryan and Cumberbatch and a number of people, number of great orators. But Garvey topped them all. Nobody came to hear anybody else but Garvey.
And so you were living in New York City during the 1920s?
Yes.
Were you living in Harlem?
Yes. Yes.
Were you still in business for yourself at this time? Or?
No, I wasn't in business here in New York.
Did you, when you came up to New York, would you feel that the condition of the black community was more favorable in New York than in New Orleans?
No, I was disappointed when I came to New York. And I thought that the black people didn't have, the homes wasn't as nice, and, the manners wasn't as nice. And I was very disappointed. But I stayed on, going back south frequently.
Did you ever get involved in politics in the Democratic and Republican parties over there?
Oh yeah, here in New York. Yes. Oh yes. I didn't know anything about politics, but I felt there was a black man that was running, and I felt he should be supported. And he was running on the Republican ticket. So I went to the big shots in the Republican Party, the head man downtown. I wanted to see them and see what they intended to do for us and so on. He gave me a lot of, talk about Lincoln and the Republican Party being the friend of the black people and everything. So I went to work for this black man, J. Dowden Steele.
J. Dowden Steele. He was the head of the Elks.
He was a great black man. Well, anyway, he was cold black, too, beautiful black. We worked so hard that the Democrats couldn't even keep their workers on the corner. We worked so hard for J. Dowden Steele. And after the Republican Party, after the election day, the Republican Party had a victory dinner reception on Broadway. And the white women said, now when you ladies get ready to have yours, that we weren't acceptable to their victory dinner on Broadway, And that struck me then. I knew I was in the wrong thing. And it was then that right during that campaign, right after the Republican campaign, that my sister Eloise came to me and told me what was happening in Harlem. I was living on the hill. And she told me that there's a big demonstration for the Scottsboro boys. And I said, who's having the demonstration? She said, the Reds are having it. And I said, I wonder how the Reds, who are the Reds? I didn't even know who the Reds were. Well, anyway, I called everybody because I'd been active and the people knew me, and I said, come on, let's go. And so about 7 or 8 people went with me to see this big demonstration. When I got there, I'd never in my life seen such an outpouring of people. I saw signs, death to the lynchers. Oh, that inspired me to no end. And I saw a young white woman carrying a sign, death to the lynchers. I walked up to her and said, no, you give me that sign. She said, you can walk beside me, but I must carry the sign. I'm the black woman. I must carry that sign. So I took the sign from her and I walked around and all over during the parade, and then I got back to the place where the speakers was, and I joined up with them. I didn't need any coaching. I didn't need anything. This was what I wanted. Freedom for my people. Free the 9 Scottsboro boys. And Eric stopped a death to lynchers and everything. That was just what I'd been looking for. So I joined in. I didn't question anything. I didn't care what it was. It was doing that for us.
So that Scottsboro case was just a tremendous event.
Yes. And it brought in a lot of our people who saw action, you see, for the first time, anybody moving on our issues.
Mm-hmm. How did the Depression affect Harlem? Was it...
The Depression was something else. Soup lines, Father Divine came on the scene during the Depression. He really saved Harlem, I think, because he gave us meals for 15 cents. Most delicious meals. And there were lines around the block waiting to be served in Father Divine's mission. So I think that helped a great deal. And then I joined the fight for welfare for the people. And my sister Eloise at the same time was fighting for milk for the children at a school she was interested in. And there was a Mrs. Freeman who was the principal of the school who helped her in her struggle. And Eloise went to Miss Fannie Hearst of the Hearst newspaper and got Miss Hearst to give milk. And Miss Hearst eventually put up a milk station in Harlem where all the little children could go and get milk free. And so, well, these were the days. We just fought. We fought for welfare, and we fought for WPA, and we fought for Social Security. The communists led all those fights. The communists led the fight for the soldiers' bonus. It led the fight for unemployment insurance. It led those fights. And of course, those were things I wanted, and I joined right in with them. Then there was the Martinville 7. There was Angelo Herndon. Angelo Herndon, who was given a death sentence in Georgia for leading a big demonstration there. He was charged with sedition for bread. So we joined all of those fights for the freedom of our people.
Because there are people who say that in terms of that the Depression had a devastating effect on the community in that it so many of the men were unemployed and it increased the problems of the children and things like that.
Of course. Yes, indeed. That was the women couldn't get welfare if the husbands was in the house and all that kind of thing. The social workers, the whole system divided up our people, you see.
When you went into the Communist Party in Harlem, was the organization dominated by whites?
All whites. All whites in Harlem. All positions, everything was white. Everything. All the leading people in the coast. They had James Ford. He was the chairman of the Harlem Communist Party. But everything else was white. All the people were white. And all the other, the finance secretaries, all the money, nobody ever saw any of the money. All of the head of the literature department and the head of every important department was white. White women, just flocked in Harlem. We couldn't do a thing. We couldn't learn how to do anything for ourselves, for the whites.
Because there was Abner was telling me that there was some tension surrounding the fact that black women felt that white women were coming in and trying to take the the men in the party.
They didn't try to take the men. The white woman took the men. They didn't try to take them. They actually took them. Of course, there was resentment on the part of the black women, and the Communist Party really never made much inroad amongst the black people. They didn't allow two blacks to meet together. Always we had to have a white in our midst. And yet they had, all national groups was broken down. They had the Italian and the Italian Party and the Italian Commission. They had the Jewish Commission, Romanian, Estonian, Latvian, Yugoslavian, every mission, the Swede, the Finns, every mission, every national group had its own commission, and the Negro Commission had whites in it. The party had a thing, a sing-song thing on that, Negro and white unite and fight, Negro and white. There had to be whites in all of our meetings.
Were the black members of the party able to organize to change that?
No, oh no, indeed. Everyone that tried was expelled. I think I'm about the only one in the party that resigned. They didn't expel me, I resigned. I had been Ben Davis's campaign manager. Ben Davis didn't even mention me in the book. All the wonderful work that was done. Ben didn't know two people in Harlem when he ran for the city council. He didn't know anybody in Harlem. And we brought all those people around him and really had a campaign. The Communist Party wanted to take me out of the campaign a week before the election. Wanted to send me to Brooklyn to work in Pete Caccioni's campaign.
You mean they tried to prevent the blacks from organizing together?
They didn't want Ben to win. They didn't want Ben to win. And I went and rented the Golden Gate and had so many people there that we had $2.75, an unheard of thing around election campaigns. But I was in charge, and that was the first thing I did. When the Communist Party gave me $500, and I ran that campaign, never got another nickel from them. And I got an office, and I went and put money down on the Golden Gate. And that was the first thing I did. That was in July, and the election was in November. And everything led up to that big affair, $2.75. They called me in. Ben called me in and said, make it 25 cents. 2 weeks before this campaign, he told me I was whipping up too much enthusiasm among the people, that I was going to demoralize the party. And we had enthusiasm was so high until we had candidates standing up saying, I know you're going to give Ben your first choice vote, but would you please give me your second? The candidates asking for second choice vote. You see, so high was our committee would go around singing all over Harlem. We had songs made up. Yes, yes, select that Davis. Yes, yes, you know. And we just, it was just something to behold. Nobody's ever seen a campaign like that campaign for Ben, and I was the campaign manager. And the fact that he didn't mention me showed the terror in that Communist Party.
What did the terror stem from? How did they have people so intimidated?
Well, first of all, you agree to the self-discipline yourself. You see, you want freedom, and you feel that here's an instrument to get it. So you subordinate self. It's really a process.
So it was a thing where people like yourself felt this was the only thing that was out there fighting.
It was.
And you you took certain steps in order to be part of that.
That's right. It was the only thing. And it had a position which inspired me to know on us that we were a nation within a nation, you see. And then later, of course, you know what happened. It relinquished its position on us.
One of the things that I came across, and I'll get the reference for you in my files, was a fight to get rid of a racist principle.
I participated in all the struggles to get rid of racist principles out of Harlem. But then I find that the problem is deeper than race. Of course, at that time, you see, for a long time I was a Negro. And I fought as a Negro. I joined the Communist Party as a Negro. Now, I had to come to the realization that a Negro was a concoction of the old slave master, a trick, to get us to do ourselves in. We don't need the slave master over us any longer. We will do the job for him now better than he could do it. So that being a Negro is a condition. It's not just a name. When I realized that we were going wrong, I went to the Communist Party. I really wanted the Communist Party to discuss the thing and analyze it. Let's see. But the blacks wouldn't touch it. Ben Davis and none of them would touch it. And the whites couldn't touch it because they said the blacks hadn't brought it up. And you know you go according to rank. And so those blacks on the Central Committee, if they didn't bring it up, the whites couldn't bring it up. So I kept getting bile developing in my stomach because I could see we were going wrong. Now, incidentally, you know the Communist Party calling us black. If they left that Negro dead, I'd like to know what was their, what kind of discussion they had, you know, and change it, because that's a great change for them. Mm-hmm. But we're not black. Now, I don't know what they're going to do because we lead in that black thing. You see, we are Africans born in the United States. That's what we are. Africans born in the United States. See? If you have little children here who are, well, let's say Chinese, they're born here. They're Chinese children born here. Or let's say the Jewish children. They're born here, they're still Jews. Or any other, Italians, every other people. Why we, of all the people in the world, had to change our names, change our character, change our terminology, our national heritage, our national origin, everything cut away and destroyed from us. Mm-hmm. Why we had, how come China produced Chinese, Japan, Japanese, France, the French, Africa produces Negroes? Why can't Africa produce Africans? Well, and if we're born here, I remember one little white girl came over from South Africa, the sweetheart of Dr. Max Jurgen. Her name was Frida Neugebauer, and she was all as white as she could be and blue-eyed and everything. And she was making a speech talking about we Africans and I stood it as long as I could, and I stood up in the floor, and I said, how could you call yourself an African? She said, because I was born there. So I said, well, your being born there wouldn't make you an African any more than if a cat had kittens in the oven, it wouldn't make them biscuits. She was born there, so she's an African. So they have a saying over there, they're even calling our people black Africans. Can you imagine calling the Europeans white Europeans? You know what I mean? So it just shows you how we're messed up. And somebody got to straighten it out. So since it's left to me, I got about my business doing it.
It's interesting. Richard Moore, who was also active as a leader of the Scottsboro campaign, has a very similar outlook in terms of this whole term Negro and
well,
so
we trained Richard Moore. We trained Richard Moore. And my sister Eloise taught Richard. He had those books there, and he wasn't even going into those books, trying to get out anything. Eloise forced him, and he put Eloise out of his store 5 times. She had to suffer that indignity until he finally began to write that book. Eloise.
This is when is this
and
taking place?
He should have dedicated that book to Eloise. But you know you can debauch history. You know that?
Well, it's certainly been done in this country.
You see in his book her pictures on the front page there with some others. But Eloise is responsible.
What was Eloise's last name?
Moore.
Moore. Eloise Moore.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Eloise she had one of the greatest minds, we used to call her, our Socrates. And it broke our heart when Eartha Kitt was given a precious time to talk with Einstein when Eloise was the one that should have talked with Einstein, not Eartha Kitt, with her little kitten self. I mean, Eloise, who had a mind, who I'm sure could have brought us back something from that conversation.
Huh. When you were active in the party, was there a lot of educational work going on? Was a lot of studying and reading?
Yes. Oh yes, for which I'm ever grateful. I'm grateful to the party. It taught me the class character of this society. It taught me the science of society. And so that we have to have in our endeavor to try to get free. And I'm encouraging all of our youth and our black people to study so that they will understand, you see, because without that we could never make it.
Mm. Of the people active in Harlem, the black leaders in the party, were they strong individuals and people of depth and power on their own, or were some...
One of the unique things about our people, that in spite of being Negroes, we are giants. You take men like A. Philip Randolph and Du Bois and Walter White, Kelly Miller, and all of those men. They were all great men in their own way. Ben Davis and James W. Ford, all great men, Winnie Winston, but they're Negroes, and they can't make it as Negroes. They just can't make it. No, they couldn't, I should say, because most of them are dead and gone.
It's interesting because sometimes you will read things and they give you the idea that the black people in the party were just yes men. And speaking to Abner Berry, a person that brilliant, I couldn't imagine him being a yes man.
No, they were not yes men. They made their contribution according to the way they understood. But you see, a Negro fits in a situation. That's it. A Negro doesn't dare out to be creative. He can't be creative once he's subjected to somebody else's ideology, you see. So that's what it is. A Negro is his own destruction. He doesn't need the white man to destroy him anymore. It's a bad condition to be in, a very bad condition.
What were the schools in Harlem like during the 30s, during those fights that you were involved in?
Oh, they were terrible. The white teachers used to call our children niggers in the classroom. Yes, they did. The white teachers used to fling books across the room and have the blood gushing from the... They don't have the interest at heart of the little children any greater than the white people do. Now I don't say all of them. I don't say that even all the whites, because I had a white principal, assistant principal in a school in Harlem the other day, asked me, please come and help us. He's paid now, and I'm not on anybody's salary, and come and help them to get the children. He said it's so disheartening to see our children come into school in first grade, all bright-eyed, eager, hungry to learn, and go out drooping in sixth grade. That's his own school. So this is the condition.
What about the tenant struggle that was waged during the 30s?
Oh, yes, those were great struggles, putting the furniture back in the houses after the landlord put the people out, sick people and everything. People couldn't pay their rent. Those were terrible things. And on Sugar Hill, where everybody thought they were better than everybody else, I organized Sugar Hill. The first strikes we had, I organized them. And 555 Edgecombe, 672, St. Nicholas, all those big houses up there, 49. We organized those houses. So it was quite something. And I was organizing the houses when I joined the Communist Party. I was right in the process of organizing the houses. When I joined the Communist Party, though, I didn't know. I sat there for a year almost before I understood what they were talking about. They were talking about the Mannerheim line, the little entente, things, like that. Hitler's occupation of, the Dayton land, and all of those kind of things. And then, of course, by the time Hitler's occupation of the Rhineland, I began to understand then what was happening, you see.
Do you remember when Mussolini invaded Ethiopia, the big demonstrations?
Yes, I was participating in organizing. Many of our people wanted to go, volunteered to go. The United States government said, if you go, you'll lose your citizenship. What citizenship? We was asked, what citizenship? But we collected bandages and sheets, old sheets, and tore them up. And the nurses in Harlem Hospital they sterilized them. We collected medicines and so on and sent. And we had to fight to get nurses in Harlem Hospital. We had to fight for decent treatment. Every day, there was struggles. Every day. We had to fight to get nurses in Bellevue. We had to fight to get black doctors in Harlem Hospital. It was something. Even to put clean sheets on the receiving table, we had to fight for that. They were dirty, bloody sheets, and they didn't mind putting you right on somebody else's blood.
Other than yourself, were there strong black women in the party?
Always. There was always many beautiful black women. But most of them would come and go because they were so disgusted on account of their black men. You know.
Do you remember Benita Williams?
Oh, Benita was my heart. She was so darling, so sincere. She was, like we all did, round the clock, night and day. No time, no Sundays, no holidays, no such thing as that. Yes, indeed. And how would you know about Benita?
Oh, reading. Abner told me about her, and reading about the League of Struggle for Negro Rights.
The League of Struggle for Negro Rights. That's right.
And they had housewives on strike against the meat prices.
Oh yes, we organized against the high meat prices. We used to go into the markets and take the bundles of meat from the women and say, what did you pay for this? And we put it on the scale. Make the butcher give her back her extra money. Many times we closed up the butchers. We closed them up. They used to put their hands on the scale to weigh the meat. And they used to put stones in the scale. I guess they still do.
Yeah.
And they used to have rotten meat. You could smell it. Rotten fish. You could smell it out on the sidewalk. You could smell it. We closed them up. We closed up the theaters on the avenue. I led many of those fights. Closed up the theaters for having smutty jokes against us and so on. There's a lot of things I could tell you, but I have to write my own book.
Right. Well, you have to write the book because...
that's right. There should be people.
I know. There was also the fights to open up jobs on 125th Street.
Well, now that was a big thing. Abner Berry and myself was appointed to go and meet with Adam Powell to ask him, we were appointed by the Communist Party, to ask him would he leave the job camp with. And he said he was so busy. And we assured him that if he just said yes, that's all, because we do all the work. And he did say yes. And then we went and got another great minister to be co-chairman with him, Reverend William Lloyd Hines. And we organized that job campaign. And Adam, of course, came to Judas. We picketed the World Fair, and I was captain of the World Fair picket line, where we picketed round the clock, all day and all night. We got jobs on the buses. We had a lot of meetings with Mike Quill,
right.
And we organized with the union, because the Communist Party played a role. You see, I don't want to negate what the communists did, because I'll tell you, without the help of the Communist Party at that time.